All right. What's up, Lock 22? It is officially season 2 of Puck University. Hashtag Puck U. And fellas, it is hockey season once again. Break out the beers. It's time to wheel snipe Sally. Going around the board, we got my fabled co-host, Tommy Bahama Mitchell. Tommy, how are you tonight?
Welcome back, everybody. Excited for some hockey.
Let's go. And new to the show this year, he made one appearance last year. He will be a more regular guest in season 2. We got James JD out of the beautiful state of Ohio, in the less beautiful town of Dayton. James, welcome, my friend. I'm enjoying your jersey behind you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm ready, excited. Can't wait to bring some sarcasm and, tears and other things to the show.
Well, I am on another show where we talk about the downfall of our professional sports team. It's also called NFL. You can catch it here on Lock 22. Not a shameless promotion. But here, I think that there's a little bit of sense of optimism, especially for the 3 teams that we're going to be discussing tonight. Our 3 favorite teams. We're going to start with my friend Tommy and his beloved Pittsburgh Penguins. What are the flightless birds from Antarctica have to offer for us in the 2023-2024 NHL season?
Well, if you don't remember, go back and watch the last episode of last season. I said they needed to bring some help for Letang because he's the only good defender we have. And they went out and got Carlson from the Sharks. So, looking up on the defensive side, also they got rid of the backup goaltender that I hate and thought was awful and replaced with a much quicker goalkeeper. So I'm excited about that. And then we got another forward in Riley Smith, and we're upgrading the lines. So I'm looking forward to this season to see what we look like with a better defensive team and some better forward play.
So the Penguins, things are looking up. All right. And then honking on over to my second favorite American cryptid, the New Jersey Devil. JD, what do we think?
Made some definite upgrades as far as going out and acquiring the forward from Calgary. Losing David Severson to Columbus is a shame. Losing Ryan Graves to the Penguins, that hurt. But we have made some headway. I still think the New Jersey Devils' biggest weakness is going to be their lack of enforcer. You got some pretty tough guys on defense as far as stand-up defense, but we don't have that person who's really going to kind of mix it up so much. Maybe Kevin Ball. We'll have to see how the season turns out. The addition to Luke Hughes, absolutely amazing. Can't wait. Simon Nemec, can't wait to see him out on the ice this year. I think things are looking really, really good for New Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey with kind of a historic run, knocking off the heavily favored New York Rangers in the playoffs last year. Also a good friend of the show, Ming Chen, big Jersey Devils fan, so we will be watching with interest. Hopefully you watch as well here on Puck University, hashtag PuckU. Let's see how many times I can say that this episode. All right. Now I get to talk about what you guys really came to hear. Colorado Avalanche. How do we get back to the cup? And this is where I adore Joe Sakic. Man is a legend in the state of Colorado, legend in whatever part of Canada he's from, Hall of Famer, multiple time Stanley Cup champion, and just goes to prove that in hockey at least, former All Star players make great GMs. So looking at some of the moves. All right, so we lose JT Compher to Detroit. Alex Newhook picks up a new contract. He's out of here. Eric Johnson goes to Buffalo. He's, kind of the cornerstone of our defense. How do you replace those three guys and get better? Here's what we did. Number one, Ryan Johnson from Nashville. Underrated guy, kind of getting older, experienced player. Here's another thing. Gabriel Landeskog is arguably going to be injured for the rest of the whole next season. So Avs need a captain. I like Johnson as the captain. Nathan McKinnon, he's an all-star, one of the best players in the league. He's not a locker room guy. He's the first person to tell you that. Ryan Johnson brings a natural leadership to the Avalanche. I think he's a great addition. Also, we got four new forwards. Frederick Olofsson from Dallas. Really like his stuff. I think he's going to be a solid third, fourth liner. I love Ross Colton from Tampa Bay. Other guy, I think that he's probably the next JT Compher. They could even move him over to center. Guy can win faceoffs. That's another issue that they ran into. And then Thomas Tatar or Tater. I'm calling him Tater. That's that's what I'm going to be yelling at him from the stands. He probably will take exception. But you know what? If it motivates him to play better, then Tater, bake on, man. So I like his stuff. And then of course, Nathan McKinnon, we mentioned him earlier. He had a best friend on the Halifax Mooseheads when they were in the not the ECHL, but the Canadian Hockey League, where they got started in juniors. Young man named Jonathan Drouin. He's coming back. The Avalanche picked him up. He's probably not going to be on the same line as Nate, but I think that's a good chemistry move. I think that's a good, he's a younger guy. He can develop. He can learn from McKinnon. Except they got that really strong connection from Halifax. I really like it. I think that we have a really functional core. I went and saw these guys a couple weeks ago at training camp. They look sharp. I think, figuring out what's going on at goalie, I think, is still kind of up in the air. Georgiev he's solid, but does he stay healthy? Is Frankie Paulo Franco, is he going to be able to play at all this year? If not, the Avs did just pick up the backup from Arizona earlier today. I unfortunately don't remember that young man's name, but I like what I'm seeing. I don't see us getting bounced in the first round. I see us making a huge play on the Central. We'll see how good the Blackhawks are, but I like this Avalanche team. I'm excited. I'm excited for this season. I'm watching a football team that doesn't have an offensive line or a quarterback. The goddamn hockey's going to be better. All right.
Are you talking about the Bengals? That was rude.
I'm talking about my Green Bay Packers, but if you're a Bengals fan, I have no right to complain this season. I feel bad. Joe Burrow. We're not talking about football.
No.
We're talking about football on this channel. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about. 2023 offseason is now coming to a head. Season starts tomorrow. Teams made some moves, some of them good, some of them bad, some struggles with caps, new coaches, new ownership. I'm going to start with JD. I want you to tell me your most improved team for the 2023-2024 year from last year.
It's kind of twofold. I got a team in the East, team in the West. I think my team in the East that's going to be the most improved. You're going to be looking at the Buffalo Sabres. I think they're going to be a scary team. Getting the leadership, like you said, of Eric Johnson, I just feel that they just kind of needed that little push. They did well last season. They just fell a little bit short. This season, I think that they're going to be your under-the-radar team. They're going to sneak in there. They're going to pick up wins late in the season. And in the West, I really feel like the most improved team that you're going to see is the Calgary Flames. I think they're going to turn a lot of their overtime losses into wins or overtime wins this season. I expect pretty good things. I know with their coaching change, we'll get into that later in the episode. But I see good things for them as well. They've got a pretty strong core group of guys. They did lose some pieces, but I think that with the way things worked out last year, losing Johnny Gaudreau, losing Matthew Tkachuk, they rebounded really, really well from those massive losses, and they started building around a new core group of players.
All right. Okay. Don't love hearing about Calgary doing well, but you know what? I've always been kind of a fringe fan of Buffalo. I was a big Jack Eichel fan. I did like seeing him get a cup, even if it was with stupid Vegas. But yeah, you know what? I hope so. I've always really loved Dominic Hasek, another really great player. So Buffalo and Calgary, says our man JD. We'll see how that plays out. I'm gonna go next. Most improved. I got a couple. Both East teams. One used to be in the West. Um, and it hurts so much saying this as an Avalanche fan. The Detroit Red Wings.
No, don't do
Um,
it. No.
I gotta say it. I
No.
gotta say it. Stevie Y. He's got some Sakic esque tendencies. Um, dude is a local hero, great hockey mind, motivates players, gets the most out of them. They're in this what is it, the not the Central, but the was it the Metropolitan that the Red Wings are in. It's kind of a weaker division this year. I think they could really make a push. I really like the addition of JT Compher. Was a great player with the Avs. I love watching him play here. And then of course Alex DeBrincat is, he's a stud. So I like Detroit. And then also in the East, this is why I went before Tom, but yeah, I gotta take the Penguins, man. I love the addition of Carlson. Um, and then it's just like Crosby's like the ageless wonder, man. He never loses a step. So you got Crosby and Malkin and Carlson on the line. They're going to score a ton of goals. I think there's a couple of question marks on the defensive side. We'll see how that plays out, but yeah, I think the Penguins are going to be looking good. I think they definitely don't get ousted from the playoffs on the last game of the season like they did this last year. Um, so after, you know, inflating Tommy's ego a little bit, let's hear about his most improved team from this last year.
Well, now I'm just gonna be boring because you stole both of mine. So
Did I really?
I'm just gonna throw a curve into
It's
it.
good that I went first then.
And I think I'm not gonna pick those. I'm gonna throw this out there, and I know it's kind of a Hail Mary, but I'm gonna say the Blackhawks are gonna do a lot better than they did last year. I've been watching Bedard play. It's going to be fun to watch the little guy play, little big guy. I'm pretty sure he's a lot bigger than I am, but a little bit younger than me. And it's going to be interesting. We'll get to it in a little bit because it's going to be my pick, but his first game is going to be a monumental one for him, and it'll be fun to watch. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
I'm aware of the game that you speak. Yeah, the opener, Pens Blackhawks. Yeah, that's gonna be a nice one. That Connor Bedard, yeah, generational talent. We will find out. He certainly looks good in the preseason.
Have you seen the hype video, kind of the hype video with him and Crosby?
Yeah, it's funny because
it's awesome.
It's funny. Crosby's like, it looks like Crosby's being super nice to him, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I remember my first game, and you're gonna be so excited, and blah blah blah." And Bernard's just looking at him like, "I'm gonna smash you, old man." Like, I'm like, "Damn, bro, you didn't throw shade at Sidney Crosby? Okay." Like,
yeah, I don't remember what he says at the end, but then Bernard's like, basically, yeah, whatever. That's like the final words.
We'll have to see how the pressure of such a, there's so much for him coming into this league. Is he going to be able to hold up to it? Or is he going to start? It's just he's one of those players. Like, yes, he's got generational talent. He's amazing to watch, but this is a different kind of league, man. This isn't what he's used to. Yeah, he put up major points. I'm hoping the best for him. Man, I'm nervous for him too.
I am too. I mean,
Well,
we see it in every professional sport out there when they have a rookie person they slap right into the heat of things. It's either basically it's make or break.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Trial by fire, as they say. So we'll see how he does.
Like, it'll be interesting. I mean, there's guys who do it though. So I mean, Cale McCarr, great
Yeah.
example. Get scored a goal in his first game, and it was a playoff game, and he had gotten out of college 2 days before. So who knows?
Yeah.
Flipping the script, got my script, flipping it over. Who's getting worse this year? And I'll go first. I haven't gone first yet. I got two teams, also both in the East. I'm spending a lot of time in the East. A lot of turmoil in that conference. Number one is probably going to be a couple of boards, because there was only one way to go, and that's the Boston Bruins. Um, NHL record for wins, NHL record for points, murderers row. They go out there, lose a tough game 7 to Florida. Florida ends up losing the Stanley Cup to Vegas. Heartbreaking ending, but that's not where the heartbreak ends. I hate to tell you, Beantown. Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno, Todd Bertuzzi, Dmitry Orlov, and I don't remember his first name, but Hathaway. 5 superstars all off the roster this year. They're in cap hell. Boston, there's no way they recreate the dominance of last season. So Bruins, could they be competitive? Absolutely. Oh, Patrice Bergeron retired. I mean, yeah, there's so many pieces that they had last year that are missing. The other team, less of an issue with cap space and what's it called, and free agency, but more with injuries and an aging core. That's the Tampa Bay Lightning. Andrei Vasilevsky is having major surgery. It could take him out for the first 2-3 months of the season. Steven Stamkos is getting older, and then aside from that, they don't really have a super good core. They're starting at goal. This guy named Jonas Johansson used to play for the Avalanche as a third stringer, and he's going to be the starter in game 1 for Tampa Bay. So I don't like what that looks like down there, but they got a good coaching staff, so they might put something together. Tommy, who's sucking next year?
Well, I mentioned it earlier, and we talked about it a lot last year. The San Jose Sharks had one or two decent players, and then they decide to get rid of their defensive captain. So I'm going to say that they are going to plummet this year and be even worse than they were last year. Very simple answer for me, because the Penguins picked them up, so good on them.
Blood in the water. Can the Sharks find it?
Nope, Penguins are faster.
I mean, luckily this is not a nature show, so we're not going to do that. Jimmy D, what do you got?
Oh, right. I mean, I see a lot of the things from last year kind of repeating themselves. I don't necessarily agree with the Bruins being that bad. I think they made a really awful decision in putting Marchand as captain. You could have picked a way better person to take that helm, so I think you're going to run into that. But no, for my picks, it's not even really that they're going to get any worse, because it's kind of hard to be worse than the worst teams in the NHL. But Columbus is a dumpster fire, and they're going to remain a dumpster fire. With everything going on with the coaching situation, and yeah, sure, Fantilli's going to bring some talent. Cool, good for them. Johnny Gaudreau plays hockey for himself and not for anyone else. So they picked up a defenseman in David Severson, but he can't be on the ice the whole time. Other than that, the Arizona Coyotes, who I think should change their names to the homeless trash pandas because they're gonna be god awful this year. And the biggest acquisition that the Sharks made in the offseason was Mackenzie Blackwood. So their chances of finding the playoffs are about as good as a Meg beating Jason Statham in one of those god awful movies. It's not happening. So those are my three absolutely trash teams for the NHL this year.
Oh, are we running into tech difficulties? Okay, there we go. I think that we unfroze. All right. So, yes, the Sharks are bad. The Blue Jackets possibly worse. I hate Johnny Gaudreau. It's funny because they call him Johnny Hockey. He reminds me a lot of the young man they called Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel in the NFL.
What happened to that guy?
I don't know. I imagine he's probably working at some multi-level marketing thing now. I mean, that kind of seems like his bag. But yeah, you know what? Johnny Gaudreau, not the savior in Columbus. On the ire of Columbus leads us to our first kind of news discussion. We have kind of a very broad news day, but one thing I definitely wanted to address, Mike Babcock. What the hell was that about? So from what I understand, Babcock, huge egomaniac, has very poor boundaries, personal boundaries with his players as well as some members of the staff. In Columbus, takes a job, resigns within a couple of weeks, allegedly taking players' phones, posting their personal pictures up on the wall, asking players to rate their teammates, and then posting the rankings of their teammates on the wall. Really just bizarre stuff. I mean, what else do we know about this? JD, you're in Ohio. What's the talk around town?
So pretty much the buzz around here has been there wasn't a whole lot of support for him coming in. He was controversial before this ever happened, and there was a lot of murmurs that once he got into the head coaching position that they were just going to run into problems, and they did, and that's exactly what happened. They allowed, like you said, an egomaniac to come in, violate the player's privacy, which is a horrendous thing to do. I mean, yes, you're already in the spotlight as the one less than 1% of hockey players in the world who can make it to this level, and now you have to be like, everything your entire life is going to be thrown up on a wall to be rated. I believe that here in Ohio, we should pass a law. Mike DeWine, if you're listening, tar and feathering should be a thing again, and we should do that to him. Not that I'm a Blue Jackets fan, but I have great respect for the helm of the head coach, and I believe that you should absolutely lead by example. Do not treat your players like second-rate citizens like he was doing.
Well said, Tommy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, I think like the article that I read about it was the younger players didn't want to play for him. I mean, how are you going to build a franchise with a head coach where the young players don't want to play for the team? I mean, you're not going to have any free agents that can be worth a hoot come there either. I mean, it just sends the whole franchise to a downward spiral. And the Columbus Jackets don't need any help with that. They're doing it themselves.
Yep. So Babcock out in Columbus. A couple other coaches have new homes this season. One that I kind of wanted to talk about, Peter Laviolette, it was a strange hiring to me. Like, guy had kind of a mid-range career at Nashville, goes to the Capitals, takes a championship team, 2 years with Laviolette. They're out of the playoffs, and the Rangers say, this is our guy. I don't really get it. So I think that this is, the Rangers almost made the list just purely because of this coaching decision. I could be terribly wrong. The Rangers have so much talent. I don't know. As a Jersey fan, JD, you got to be stoked. Seeing Laviolette in the division. But Tommy, any head coaching changes or decisions made in the offseason that really kind of shook you up?
I'm going to flip the script a little bit, and I'm going to say I'm surprised that there was a coach that wasn't hired as a head coach, and that was the talk of the Penguins' assistant coach being hired as a head coach. And I don't believe he was, unless I'm wrong, which happens every once in a while.
I
He
don't
was
believe
a,
I saw him on the list. Yeah.
he was a favorite, and he was a favorite. I can't remember which team he was a favorite for. I think it might have been the Blue Jackets, and then they went the other direction. And there was
Right.
some big hype in the office. I think we talked about it towards the end of last season that he was one of the uh, coaches on the radar to be hired, and there wasn't any talk this offseason about him at all, which really surprised me.
There's still time with Columbus. I mean, their head coach is that was a strange pick
Mhm.
for them after the whole Mike Babcock thing. So I wouldn't write him off
I
quite
was gonna say, I mean,
quite
the
yet.
off season it comes soon, and then yeah, if this kind of experiment they got going on in Columbus, I don't even remember the guy's name, but yeah, it was kind of a bizarre pick. So we'll see if they're like 12 games under 500 at the All Star break. Maybe maybe they give another
Yeah,
coach
it's
a
Mike
shot.
Bellucci is the coach that I'm thinking of. Won a Calder Cup in 2019 and was interviewed for the Bruins and the Flyers and didn't get a look at all this offseason.
James,
Well, I think kind of how I referenced Calgary earlier in the show. I think the reason that they're going to be successful is they hired from within. They brought they brought oh gosh, what's his name? I just had his name right in front of me. Ryan Huska. They just brought him
yes,
up through the system, so he's already well versed and he already knows the system that in which they work, the wisdom, how they draft, how they seek their potential free agents, the trade deadline, everything like that. So he's going to be just fine with that. I am very thrilled with the idea of Peter being there in New York because he is a insanely defensive minded coach with not a whole lot of defense. He has a shitload of sorry about the language. He has a ton of offensive talent. Zibanejad and Capo and he's got Panera. He's got all these guys. They do have decent defense, and Adam Fox and all that, but not what he is probably going to be used to working with. So I think he's going to struggle his first year. Then again, you really can't get as bad as taking an all-star cast that probably should have made it to the Stanley Cup and then blowing it in the first round, like their former coach did. So good for him. That's why you're out of a job. When you hire a bunch of Chiefs and no Indians, that's exactly what that'll get you.
well said. So the problems continue to surmount in Calgary, but is there hope on the horizon? Calgary does have a lot of talent. One of my favorite players in the league, Nazem Kadri, is a Calgary Flame, so I always wish him success, even if I not a huge fan of that particular franchise. All right, going from coaches, Hall of Fame inductees. I feel like every season we can take a minute, acknowledge the gentlemen who were nominated, who were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Couple of sorry, one second. Fuck. Sorry for the language. Um, so couple of big names go into the hall this year. A couple of goalies, two of my favorites, Tom Barrasso and Henrik Lundqvist. Tom Barrasso played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was the first overall draft pick. And then Henrik Lundqvist, yeah, I mean, needs no introduction. Man is a master of his craft. So any thoughts on any additional people before I talk about the third person inducted, which you guys can probably guess who it is?
I, as a Devils fan, we never like to cheer for the Rangers, but Lundqvist absolutely earned his spot. Just phenomenal goalie, and congratulations to all the inductees. It takes a world of effort to get there, and what you have to go through, and the blood, sweat, and tears. Congratulations to all of them, no matter what team, what their position, whether they were a coach, whether they were a player. Good for them.
I'll piggyback on that. I think I have a special place in my heart for players that stay with the same team their entire career, and he was one of them, all with the Rangers. So, congrats to him and that organization. And like I said, it's fun to see players stay with the team their entire career. So, hats off.
All right. The last guy I want to mention, going into the Hall of Fame, Avalanche, kind of the engineer, the creator of Avalanche hockey. Big, yes, thank you. Big proponent of moving the team to Colorado and assembling the cast of players. Mr. Pierre Lacroix, Colorado legend, huge philanthropist for my community. Unfortunately, did lose his battle with cancer late last year. And he was posthumously inducted. And I was just at the Pierre Lacroix Ice Center a couple weeks ago watching the Avalanche practice. Great man. Wonderful to see his name up there in the hall. So big up to him. Yeah, I said hats off. Go Avs. Rest in peace, Mr. Lacroix. All right. Finish this thing up so I can get back to my abortion of a Monday Night Football game.
Sorry, I want Devontae Adams to score me fantasy points. I'm losing.
I know. Well, I already tanked both of my. I'm 4-0 in fantasy this year, and I'm going to lose both my games this week. And I always say it's okay to lose in fantasy as long as the Packers win, but it doesn't look like that's happening either. They just love just threw a second interception, and yeah, it's just yeah, football. NFL.
Okay, let's talk hockey.
Check out NFL to see my further reaction to this game. But today we're talking about hockey, where I'm not living in hell. I'm living in a perpetual state of purgatory. All right, picks. I'm going to throw out my first pick here. So how we're going to do it this season, we're going to do 3 picks on every show per guy. And then every team that you pick, I'm explaining for the audience. I explained to the co-host here earlier. Every time that you pick, you can't pick that team again until you've picked all the rest of the teams. So it's going to get a lot harder. So I tried to temper my team selection just kind of based on that. So my first pick, Ottawa at Carolina on the 11th, opening game. Carolina's significantly better. I'm taking the Canes. Tommy, first pick.
I got to do it. I set myself up for it earlier. It's going to be opening night, and Crosby is going to kick the little guy's butt. I'm going to pick the Penguins over the Blackhawks.
I had a feeling that's going to be a fun game. I'm excited. That's like my most excited non-Avalanche game that I'm watching. JD.
I really want to pick the same game as Tommy, but do the opposite just so I can shit in his Wheaties. But I'm not gonna. Not this week. It's coming. I'll get you one of these weeks. No, I'm going to go Oilers and Canucks, and I'm going to go Oilers on that one.
Okay. A McDavid fan.
No.
But no, Vancouver is hot garbage. I agree. So, yeah. All right. I will go next. October 12th. So this would be Friday, I think. Seattle on
Thursday.
the road. Seattle on the road in Nashville. I'm taking the Kraken. Let's get those tentacles moving. So producer Dames, that one's for you, buddy. Also Nashville, you're gonna be missing Mr. Johnson because he's suiting up for us. All right. Up next. All right, Packers got the ball back. Let's go. All right. JD, pick number 2.
Pick number 2. Friday the 13th. The Pittsburgh Penguins at the Washington Capitals. Come on, Tom. Who do you think I'm gonna pick?
You're gonna say the Caps just despise.
No, man. Come on, man.
I was like, I know who you should pick. I know you should. Are you taking Pittsburgh?
I'm taking Pittsburgh on that. Are you kidding me? The Capitals, they're gonna be sucking air by the third period. They're too old.
I was like, Alex Ovechkin's 59 years old. They got nobody else.
Yeah,
sorry, I love that you won.
You hate me, so I figured it'd be.
The Capitals, they're farting dust, man.
Tommy, second pick.
Well, I'm going to be nice too. I'm going to go Friday the 13th also, and I'm going to go Devils versus the Coyotes, and I'm going to be nice to good old JD here, and I'm going to go with the Devils to win that one.
Well, spoiler alert. That was also my third pick. I was gonna say not just to be nice to JD. JD, we love having you on the show. But for 2 reasons. One, Arizona sucks ass. They have terrible coaching. Any talent they bring in is completely wasted, and they are about 6 months from being evicted from their college stadium that holds 5,000 people. So, not the best franchise. But the reason I'm picking the Devils, how do you not pick the Devils on Friday the 13th in October? Like, it's so thematic. I'm a horror guy. Like the Devils, let's go. El Diablo. Samhain, Festival of the Fall. Let's fucking do it. All right, Tommy, what's your third pick?
In my third pick, I'm going to go Monday the 16th. And I'm going to go with a weird matchup here. I'm going to pick the Flames in the Capitals game. And I'm going to pick the Flames to win that one.
Calgary goes off the board down in Tomtown. All right.
I agree with JD. I think they're getting a little better, and the Capitals are getting older. So I just think
certainly better than Washington.
I think it's going to be a good game.
All right. Take us home, country road, Dayton, Ohio. Pretty sure that's how that song goes. James.
God, we're not that back hills, but Jesus. And what the hell is wrong with the two of you? Good God, beating up on the Coyotes is like picking on gingers. It's too easy.
I'm gonna
no, Mr. Gobo, you're gonna be proud of this pick because it's on the 14th.
Let's go.
Yeah, buddy. You're gonna see that avalanche come crashing down on them Sharks, and then you're gonna know what the hell to do. I almost wanted to go with a shutout score for them. I think the Sharks will squeak one in, but I don't think they're going to get much else than that. And I think they're going to send Mackenzie Blackwood back to that locker room and cry himself to sleep on a cock-shaped pillow. Anyway.
It could be ugly. God, I hope we win that game.
I don't. If you guys lose that game, you've got bigger problems.
Hey, it's a long season, but yeah, no, we need to make a statement against teams like San Jose.
Yeah.
All right. So, Carolina, Seattle, New Jersey. Tommy's got Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and Calgary. JD, Edmonton, Pittsburgh, and the Colorado Avalanche. All right. We got some teams off the board. Who's going to win? I have to redeem myself for the shellacking Tommy gave me last season. and now we have more boys in the mixture. So, any further thoughts for the good of the order? Anything else hockey related or entertainment related you want to share with our fine viewers of the Lock 22 network?
No, other than if anybody's taking bets out there, always bet on what I say, because I did say that the Bruins are going to go for the points record in the episode I was in, and then I said they were going to lose in the first round.
I believe that is confirmed. So you know what? JD may be a safe bet. However, here on Lock 22, we do encourage our viewers to bet responsibly. But if you do, it can be a lot of fun. Problem with gambling, there is always resources that we will link to here on Lock 22. All right. Oh, okay. Backers. All right. Tommy, anything else?
Also, we did this last year. We would like to hear your guys' picks in the comments,
Yes.
wherever they are. So please put them in there. We would like to hear what your guys' input is on it.
Love it. Make sure to comment down your picks. Why are we right? Why are we wrong? Are we terrible at this whole hockey thing? Is this just a simulation that we're living in? Who really knows? All I know that I'm with my friends JD, Tommy Mitchell. I'm Gobo. This is Puck University. Hashtag PuckU. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to see all of the wonderful content on our Lock 22 network. And we will see you in a couple of weeks. Go hockey. Good night. Take care of each other out there.